Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome back to Marine Corner. Sorry it's been a while. I've not really got an excuse for it. I've took the break in studying that I planned on doing and just took some time for me, really. I don't really like, I didn't realise that it's so long since I filmed my last video. Because it was when I went to the Shoegaze Cafe in Manchester. It doesn't seem that long ago at all, really. So it doesn't seem that long ago, really. But I've not really filmed anything for a long time. Wanted to do wrap ups and TBRs and stuff like that. At the minute, I've got a pile of 16 books that I'm working my way through. Some are in this book haul now that I'm going to do in a minute. But yeah, I've not really been doing much. As I have been trying to go for walks. I have been walking. I have been playing video games. I've not really watched many films. Well, I've watched films, but not the films I pulled out on DVD. Like I pulled out like Nine, Lucky Number 11, Control, Scent of a Woman, and Battle Royale. So I picked out 5 films there. So I plan on watching one tomorrow. So yeah, that's my plan anyway. So yeah, this is just a book haul. I've got a lot of books. I didn't realise how many I was procuring at the time because I had some at work on my desk. I had some at work on my desk and some at home that I've not shown, and recent ones I picked up at the weekend as well. So that's that. So I've got a bit of quite a mixed bag, I think, really. Probably more novels than non-fiction. I think I've only got one, maybe two. No, I think 2 non-fiction. So I'm just going to go through this pile, I think, because I don't want to take too long over it. And I think I'll do a proper update when I get where I'm up to, what I'm reading, and then maybe a Friday Reads or something. I don't know. I'm just keeping it quite breezy. I don't want to leave it as long as I have this time. It's just, I feel like now at the minute, I've just taken that time for me. Like I had 5 days off, not last weekend before, so it was just chilled out really and read a lot. So yeah, so I'm going to go through this pile of books now. I've got a couple of series. So in the series, I'll show you the first book and read the back of that, but I don't want to read the second book just in case there's any spoilers. But I will show the books that I've got, and I've got them in series. I've got series, a jumble, and series. So that's that. So first up, I'm going to go with Dissolution by C.J. Sampson. It's one I keep seeing him about in charity shops, and I fancied this one. So I've been getting into a bit of. I've not read them yet, but I've been wanting to read historical fiction. It is 1537, a time of revolution that sees the greatest changes in England since 1066. Henry VIII has proclaimed himself supreme head of the church. The country is waking up to savage new laws, rigged trials, and the greatest network of informers it has ever seen. And under the orders of Thomas Cromwell, a team of commissioners is sent throughout the country to investigate the monasteries. There can only be one outcome: dissolution. But on the Sussex coast, at the monastery of Scarsney, events have spiralled out of control. Cromwell's commissioner, Robin Singleton, has been found dead, his head severed from his body. His horrific murder is accompanied by equally sinister acts of sacrilege. Matthew Shardlake, lawyer and long-time supporter of reform, has been sent by Cromwell to uncover the truth behind the dark happenings at Scarsney. But the investigation soon forces Shardlake to question everything that he hears and everything that he intrinsically believes. So that's a Matthew Shardlake. So that's Dissolution. And I also picked up the second one. I don't know if you can see that, Dark Fire. So I've got those to read. But because I'm doing the 16 book TBR. I'm kind of got a few on there, so when I hit them, I'll go through them, because that's set. I decided when I did the 16, I decided to keep it at 16. I can add to it, but I'm not taking books out. I'm just keeping the till I read the 16, then I'll get a new 16. So that's my plan. So a lot of these will end up on that. Next up, I've got Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall, and now I've actually got Bring Up the Bodies and The Mirror and the Light. I wanted to get all of them, so then I could know I had them, and if I really enjoyed them, I could just carry on with them. So this one says, in Wolf Hall, one of the very best writers brings the opulent, brutal world of the Tudors to bloody glittering life. It is the backdrop to the rise of Thomas Cromwell, low-born boy, charmer, bully, master of deadly intrigue, and finally, most powerful of Henry the eighth courtiers. So that sounds really interesting. Unfortunately, I mean, the first two authors unfortunately have passed away, but that series is finished. This one, I'm not sure if it's finished or not, so we'll see. So that's that. And then we've got a change of pace now. We've got Unknown Pleasures by Peter Hook inside Joy Division. After this, I want to read his Substance. So it says, Joy Division changed the face of music, godfathers of the current alternative scene. They reinvented rock in the post-punk era, creating a new sound, dark, hypnotic, intense, that would influence U2, Morrissey, R.E.M., Radiohead, and many others. This is the roller coaster story of Joy Division. The friendships, fights, fallouts, the rehearsals and recording sessions, the larger-than-life characters told by the band's legendary bassist, Peter Hook. I did see Peter Hook and the Light perform Joy Division, Unknown Places and Closer in full, and then they finished with Love Will Tear Us Apart. But I have read this before, and I don't know what happened to my copy of it. I don't know, I got rid of it because I thought, well, I'll reread it when I pick it up, when I see it, and I've not seen it, so I decided to pick that up offline. It was one that I ordered after my exam. And I got this one from the antique shop near me. They have books, 3 for a £5. They had Roberto Bolaño's 2666, but unfortunately that had gone. But they still had, it was a, well, when I, before I record my wrap up, I was already reading The Name of the Rose, so it made me get, because I was enjoying it, it made me get Foucault's Pendulum. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. So it says, Foucault's Pendulum is a superb entertainment by the celebrated author of The Name of the Rose, an enthralling mystery, a sophisticated thriller, a breathtaking journey through the world of ideas and aberrations, the treasures and traps of knowledge. Umberto Eco's new novel will delight, tease, provoke and stimulate. One Colonel Ardenti, who has unnaturally black, brilliantined hair, an Adolphe Mignon moustache, wears maroon socks and fought in the Foreign Legion, starts it all. He tells 3 editors at a Milan publishing house that he has discovered a coded message about a Templar plan, centuries old and diabolical complexity, to tap a mystic source of power greater than atomic energy. And it's translated by the same William Weaver who translated The Name of the Rose. Well, the copy I had of The Name of the Rose, I don't know if there's been more than one translation of Umberto Eco's works. So that's that. And on the same day that I picked that up, I also picked up a Blake Crouch book, Dark Matter. I've heard of Blake Crouch, but I haven't read him before, but love that cover. It says, are you happy in your life? Those are the last words Jason Desson hears before the masked abductor knocks him unconscious, before he awakes to find himself strapped to a gurney, surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits. Before the man he's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college physics professor. Is it this world or the other that's the dream? The answer lies in a journey more wondrous and horrifying than anything Jason could have imagined. So that sounds really good and fast paced, and I'm kind of getting into a bit more thrillers. Like I read Mystic River, Gone Girl, and The Chain by Adrian McKinty, which was really good as well. I'm really thirsty. I think I should have got 2 cans from the shop. And then this was a book I thought about reading for a while, and I was looking for a copy of it. I was looking for this specific cover of it because I think I've seen a movie version, but I'm not massively into movie versions. Like if I saw a book in a charity shop for like 50p and it was a movie edition, I'd probably get it. But when I knew I'd see this one out there, I decided to get it. I mean, it does have the annoying sticker at the bottom that isn't a stick. Well, it's stuck on. I didn't see that. You can't peel that off, which is annoying, to be honest. But I can live with that more than a movie cover, so it'll do. So this is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed. On an autumn day in 1686, 18-year-old Nella Ootman, I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name, sorry, arrives at a grand house in Amsterdam to begin her new life as the wife of wealthy merchant Johannes Brandt. Though curiously distant, he presents her with an extraordinary wedding gift, a cabinet-sized replica of their home. It is to be furnished by an elusive miniaturist whose tiny creations ring eerily true. As Nella uncovers the secrets of her new household, she realises the escalating dangers they face. The miniaturist seems to hold their fate in her hands, but does she plan to save or destroy them? So yeah, it's one I've fancied reading for a while. It's always sounded good, so that's that. And then I've got one I've seen on. I've got 3 non-fiction actually, I think, if not more. This I saw on Steve Donohue's channel. I've been watching a lot of his Brattle Holes lately, just to see if there's anything that tickles my. Not that I need any more books. So I've got Towards the Flame by Dominic Levin. It says Towards the Flame, Empire War and the End of Tsarist Russia. So it's set. It doesn't really say anything about it. It's non-fiction anyway. No. It doesn't say anything about it. I quite like the cover as well. I thought it was quite interesting. So yeah, I got that. And then after reading Name of the Rose, well, before I started Name of the Rose, I got told to read Reflections on the Name of the Rose by her. So I got this, not realising that it was in the back of my edition that I got. But I'm planning on rereading that. Well, reading this copy of it, so I can read that. It's only thin anyway, but I just think it'd be interesting to reread. And then because it's June on the Range, I think this was about $1.34 with free postage. I was just looking for westerns, and cheapest thing that came up was this, Death on the Devil's Highway by Josh Lockwood. Sentenced to hang for a murder he didn't commit, Mustang Man Oggy Kellerman escapes from custody and heads back to the scene of the crime to clear his name. As an escaped prisoner, he is fair game for every lawman, bounty hunter, and Indian tracker in the Arizona Territory. He is also a fast-moving target for Charlie Keogh, the so-called Copper King of Arizona, the one man who stands to lose everything if he makes it back alive. The only thing for it is a dangerous ride across the highest stretch of trail known to mankind, the Devil's Highway. Often enough in the West, a man's reputation is all he has, and Kellerman's is badly in need of some six-gun justice. That sounds good. I've only just seen that in the book. These have been on my desk, you see. This one was on eBay. Well then, yeah, the last three was on eBay, so... and then this one I picked up in a charity shop on the same day I picked up Dark Matter by Blake Crouch and Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. It's one I had from the library but didn't get round to reading. It's The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon. It was only 75 pence, so I thought I'd pick it up. Suffused with rich satire, chaotic brilliance, verbal turbulence, and wild humour, The Crying of Lot 49 opens as Orpidia Mass discovers that she has been made exclusive of a former lover's estate. The performance of her duties sets her on a strange trail of detection in which bizarre characters crowd in to help her or confuse her, but gradually death, drugs, madness and marriage combine to leave Orpea in isolation on the threshold of revelation, awaiting the Crying of Lot 49. So that's that. That one's only thin, so hopefully gets that soon. This was one I seen on Steve Donohue's channel as well. It wasn't a recommendation, it was just again a book, Brattle Hall, but I quite liked the title and was a bit intrigued by it, and so I decided to pick a copy up. It's called Nina Berberova. But I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Berberova. The italics are mine. So the italics are mine is the remarkable account of an exceptional life. Nina Berberova was born in St. Petersburg in 1901, and her autobiography takes a course through the Russian Revolution to an emigre's life in Paris and finally to America. She was professor of Russian literature at Princeton and belatedly received great acclaim for the short novels she wrote in the 1930s and 40s. Excuse me. That seems like that's about 600 pages, but it's something I don't know much about, but it sounds interesting. And then this one, these two I got from the same charity shop. Two hardbacks now, I think the only hardbacks on my pile. This is Cloud of Sparrows by Takashi Matsuoka. I think this is one of two. Emily Gibson has come to Japan as a missionary to start a new life in America. Her beauty drove men wild in Japan. She possesses no beauty at all. Matthew Stark speaks like a missionary, but wears a pistol like a gunslinger. Emily has come to Japan to bury her past. Stark has come to kill his. It is 1861, and after over 2 centuries of isolation, Japan has been forced to open its doors. A whole way of life is about to die. Lord Genji of the Akawa clan knows this. Blessed with his family's power of prophecy, he has foreseen that his and Japan's fate lie in the hands of the outsiders, but this knowledge is dangerous to many powerful men and deadly for Genji. As intrigue mounts and the city of Edo and the Shogun's palace are threatened by foreign ships, Genji plans his escape to his ancestral home, Cloud of Sparrows. With him travel Emily and Stark and Heiko, his beautiful geisha and a deadly spy. However, the road is long and there are many places along the way for a samurai to attack and for Genji to die. So that sounds good. I wasn't sure about it at first, and I went back, and luckily it was there. But it's one of my only hardbacks. And then this, like I say again, I'm getting into thrillers. And I kept seeing this one around and thought, well, as it's a debut, I may as well get it in a hardback. I'm not sure. I think it was £1 maybe for the hardback or two. But because I fancied that in hardback, I decided to get this. So it says every day is the same. This is by Paula Hawkins. Every day the same. Rachel catches the same commuter train every morning. She knows it will wait at the same signal each time, overlooking a row of back gardens. She's even started to feel like she knows the people who live in one of the houses. Jess and Jason, she calls them. Their life as she sees it is perfect. If only Rachel could be that happy. Until today, and then she sees something shocking. It's only a minute until the train moves on, but it's enough. Nothing's changed. Now Rachel has a chance to become a part of their lives. She's only watched from afar. Now they'll see. She's much more than just the girl on the train. Just having a nosy at this, sorry. I don't know if it's a first edition or not, but I don't really collect books. I'm a collector of books, but I'm not a collector of, I don't actually care. If I've got a copy of a book and I can read it, I'm not bothered about anything else. So I've got another pile, and then I've got 2 series, so that shouldn't take me too long after I get through this pile. First up is Butter by Asako Yuzuki. So on Goodreads, there's a seasonal challenge. Well, I've done 4 of 7. So I'm reading the Symposium by Olga Tokarczuk. I'm reading that at the minute because that's one of the challenges. And then the next one is heritage, Asian literature. I fancied reading this for a while, and I went into the works and they had it for £6, and my son wanted some. So I was like, well, if you want something, I'll get Butter, because I did want Butter anyway. I looked at it in Waterstones when it was in hardback. I think it was about 20 quid or 30 quid or something. It was a lot of money then, so I waited for the paperback. But I do prefer a paperback. It's just occasionally I do buy a hardback. And certain authors I buy hardback. Anyway, gourmet cook Mayako Kaiji sits in Tokyo Detention Center, convicted of the serial murders of lonely businessmen who she is said to have seduced with her delicious home cooking. She refuses to speak with any press. That is until journalist Rika Machida writes a letter asking for a recipe for beef stew, and Kaji can't resist writing back. Rika rarely cooks more than instant ramen, but as her conversations with Kaji unfold, they seem closer to a masterclass in food than journalistic research. With each meal Rika eats under Kaiji's close instruction, something is awakened in her body. Might she and Kaiji have more in common than she once thought? So it says here, inspired by the real case of the Kankatsu killer. This is a vivid, unsettling exploration of misogyny, obsession, and the transgressive pleasures of food in Japan. So that sounds quite interesting. It's about 450 pages. So yeah, I got that. This one I got because Thingy mentioned it on his channel. Rikash, who runs Chrono Samizdat. And then I ordered it and then realised it was part of a trilogy. It doesn't really say anything about it. Work by Richard Mackin. So that'll probably sit on my shelf for a while till I pick the others up. And then I got an Ian Banks one as well, A Song of Stone. I'm really trying to collect these black and white Stark editions of the books. So yeah, this says, the war is ending, perhaps ended. For the castle and its occupants, the troubles are just beginning. Armed gangs roam its lawless land, where each farm and house supports a column of dark smoke. Taking to the roads with the other refugees, anonymous in their raggedness, seems safer than remaining in the ancient keep. But the lieutenant of an outlaw band has other ideas, and the castle becomes the focus for a dangerous game of desire, deceit, and death. Combining a gripping narrative with a soaring, voyaging imagination, A Song of Stone addresses timeless questions of truth, betrayal, duty, and loyalty, weaving them round a complex plot into a seamless, spellbinding whole. So that sounds interesting. I mean, I just get these when I see them. Ian Banks books. I've only read The Wasp Factory so far, but I just get them because I like them editions. I just get them. And then I got this in Waterstones. They had a sale section. This was on the sale, so I asked the guy, was it in the sale? But he said he could do it for me for £3 because it was on the sale pile. So I got this. I wouldn't have got it for more because I only just read The Chain. But this is The Island again, thriller. It was supposed to be a family vacation for Heather Baxter. A working trip to Australia with her new husband Tom and his 2 teens is a true dream come true. A terrible accident changed everything, but while visiting remote Dutch island, the Baxters become involved in a horrific accident, after which Heather must make an impossible decision. Her choice forces the entire family to run and puts her new stepchildren in grave danger. You don't know what you're capable of until they come for your family. Heather has been underestimated her entire life, but she knows that only she can bring her family home again. She'll become the mother the children desperately need, even if it means doing the unthinkable to keep them alive. So that sounds really good. The Chain was really good. I really enjoyed The Chain. So yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, I've got an itchy nose, sorry. So yeah, The Island by Adrian McKinsey. So again, I feel like it's kind of like thrillers, historical fiction is kind of where I'm laying. And then I found a Richard Lehman book in a charity shop, which doesn't usually happen. I do collect Richard Lehman. He's very much a guilty pleasure. I see Richard Lehman as kind of like my what's the word I'm looking for? Reality TV. I don't watch reality TV, but that's just my kind of like. I just enjoy it. Switch off with it and enjoy it. So, on a hot summer night in West LA, Shane Malone sits sweltering in front of the computer thinking how easy it should be to write a contribution for an anthology in which every chilling tale must end in the death of a 22-year-old woman in her apartment. Ideal swirl, but it has to be a grabber. Shane doesn't want to look like a slouch, and the deafening music blaring from next door is not helping. Shane furiously bangs on the neighbour's door, ready to let rip. But Francine just happens to be a 22-year-old woman who will not be argued with, and Shane is about to find out that life can imitate art. So begins the first tale in this terrifying collection of short stories, a delicious cornucopia of homicidal maniacs, vampires, and lust-crazed teenagers that showcase the macabre genius of Richard Lehman. So yeah, I just find him switch off and enjoy. I'm not sure how many stories there are. Can't bother counting them, but it's quite a few. So that's that. I also got Chuck Palahniuk Choke. I have read Fight Club, but picked Choke up in a charity shop. I think it was £4 for £1 or something like that, or whatever I got, or £2 for £1 or something like that. It says Victor Mancini has devised a complicated scam to pay for his mother's hospital care. pretend to be choking on a piece of food in a restaurant, and the person who saves you will feel responsible for the rest of their lives. Multiply that a couple of hundred times, and you generate a healthy flow of checks week in, week out. Between fake choking gigs, Victor works at a theme park with a motley crew of losers, cruises sex addiction groups for action, and visits his mother, whose anarchic streak made his childhood a mad whirl, and whose Alzheimer's disease now hides what may be the starting truth about his parentage. An anti-hero for our deranging times. Victor's whole existence is a struggle to wrest an identity from overwhelming forces. That sounds interesting. I didn't really know what it was about. I just grabbed it because it was Chuck Palahniuk, to be honest. I got the first one in P.D. James, Adam Dalglish's Mystery Cover Her Face. I've wanted this for a while, and every time I see a P.D. James book, it's never the first one, so I grabbed this. When the body of Sally Jupp is discovered in her bedroom, the door bolted from the inside, the occupants of Martingale House are sure that the blame for this unthinkable crime will fall on an unknown intruder, but each member of the household is hiding a secret that could shed light on the murder, and there is only one man who can sift through the layers of deceit and pretends to unmask the truth: Chief Inspector Adam Dalgleish. So that sounds really interesting. I've only read Christmas mysteries that are really good. I got The Cruel Sea by Nicholas Monserrat. So it says, based on the author's own vivid experiences, The Cruel Sea is the nail-biting story of the crew of HMS Compass Rose, a corvette assigned to protect convoys in the Second World War, darting back and forth across the icy North Atlantic. Compass Rose played a deadly cat and mouse game with packs of German U-boats lying in wait beneath the ocean waves. Packed with tension and vivid descriptions of agonising U-boat hunts, this tale of the most bitter and chilling campaign of the war tells of ordinary men who had to master their own fears before they could face a brutal menace which would strike without warning from the deep. So that is that. So yeah, I have read that before, but I want to reread it. So I ordered it. I only had it from the library, so... And I got a Pearl S book, The Good Earth, because I never see Pearl S books. Yeah. So it says, in the reign of the last emperor, a servant woman married a humble man. Together they began an epic journey. Orlan is a homeless servant girl in the village's greatest house when she is taken as a wife by Wang Lung. A simple Chinese farmer, she toils tirelessly through 4 pregnancies for their family's survival. Reward at first is meagre, but there is hope in their work, sustenance in the land until the famine comes. Forced to flee or die of starvation, the family arrives in the city, joining thousands of peasants to beg on the streets. It seems that all is lost until a combination of good luck and Orlan's will to survive conspires to return them to their home with undreamt wealth. But they have betrayed the earth that had previously sustained them, and their money breeds only mistrust and deception and heartbreak for the woman who had saved them. I think that's part of a series, but I'm not sure how many is in the series. And the same one for this one. Again, I picked a Graham Masterson one up, but I picked one in the later in the series, but this is White Bones. This is the first one of his, of the Katie Maguire thrillers. So this says, one wet wind-swept November morning, a field on a desolate farm gives up the dismembered bones of 11 women. Their skeletons bear the marks of a meticulous butcher. The bodies date back to 1915. All were likely skinned alive. But then a young woman goes missing, and her remains, the bones carefully stripped and arranged in an arcane pattern, are discovered on the same farm. With the crimes of the past echoing in the present, Katie Maguire must solve a decades-old murder steeped in an ancient legend before this terrifying killer strikes again. So that sounds interesting. So that's called White Bones. And then I've got 3 books left. Well, 3 books I'm going to read the blurb on. The first up, I got this from Waterstones in the sale. It was only £1. If I weren't buying this, I wouldn't have asked about Adrian McKinty. That's why I got that as well. So this is called Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shri, I think. This is Tilted Access, sorry. In northern India, an 80-year-old woman slips into a deep depression at the death of her husband, then resurfaces to gain a new lease on life. A determination to fly in the face of convention, including striking up a friendship with a Hajra person, confuses her bohemian daughter, who is used to thinking of herself as the more modern of the two. Rather than respond to tragedy with seriousness, Gitanjali Shri's playful tone and exuberant wordplay results in a book that is engaging, funny, and utterly original, at the same time as being an urgent and timely protest against the destructive impact of borders and boundaries, whether between religions, countries, or genders. So that sounds quite interesting, albeit rather a long novel, about 700 odd pages. Sorry, it's getting a bit dark here. So I've got Don Winslow's trilogy. So I'm going to read Power of the Dog. Doesn't say much on the cover. Doesn't say much there either. No. But it's a trilogy anyway, it sounds really good. I think it's about the drug culture. My friend at work gave it me, and I thought, well, I'll have to buy the other 3, so I have done. And then finally, I've got The Evening and the Morning by Ken Follett. And then I've got World Without End, A Column of Fire, no sugar, Pillars of the Earth, and The Armour of Light. Basically, I wanted all of them so I could read them all. But I'll probably do the 16. At the minute, out of all these, before I read the back of this, I've got in my pile Wolf Hall, Unknown Pleasures, The Power of the Dog. I'll probably read Butter for that. TBR. And that's it at the minute. And then I'll probably read the next Wolf Hall, read the next Ken Follett, when I add stuff to it. So it says, a time of conflict. So this is The Evening and the Morning. This is like the prequel book, because I got these after the prequel was released. I decided to read it in that order. It is a time of conflict. It is 997 CE, the end of the Dark Ages. The king's grip on the country is fragile and chaos reigns. A young boat builder dreams of a better future after a devastating Viking raid shatters the life he hoped for. 3 lives intertwined. A Norman noblewoman follows her husband to a new land, only to find her life there shockingly different, and a capable monk at Stirling Abbey has a vision of transforming his humble home into a centre of learning admired throughout Europe. The dawn of a new age. Now, with England at the dawn of the Middle Ages, these 3 people will each come into dangerous conflict with a ruthless bishop who will do anything to increase his wealth and power in an epic tale of ambition, rivalry, love and hate. So that's everything I bought. Now, I know that's quite a stack there, but that's been over a while, because Choke and stuff I've had a while, but then Tomb of Sand, Butter, I got at the weekend, and The Island. So, but I'm going to pick my next 16 books. at some point. I feel like some of these are going to have to go into it because I don't want to. I'm not buying stuff to keep on my shelves. I'm buying stuff because I genuinely want to read it. So if I was going to put anything on my shelves,